Hey everyone, welcome back to the Movie Fanatics. I'm Brayden. John Carpenter's The Thing has always been one of my all-time favorite horror films, only ever second to the original Halloween. Last year, my dad and I got to see the original The Evil Dead in theaters for a 40th anniversary screening, and it was truly something else. And just a few days ago, we got to see The Thing in theaters, and it was so awesome. On this viewing, I truly got to appreciate how brilliant this film is. It's truly just a work of art. Now, let's get into it. John Carpenter's The Thing. This film, of course, opens on the frozen wastelands of Antarctica as we see a helicopter pursuing a dog. One of the men inside shoots at the dog, confirming that he has stormtrooper aim before landing at Research Outpost 31. One of them tries to throw a grenade, but drops it. He runs, and the helicopter and the pilot blow up. By this point, the crew of the outpost are outside as the survivor shoots into the crowd, hitting Bennings, played by Peter Milani, in the leg. The survivor continues his rampage before being shot dead by Gary, played by Donald Moffat. Now, I love this opening. It's a perfect setup, throwing you right into the action and commotion. It works perfectly for this film. Also, I love how McCready, played by Kurt Russell, is introduced. He's drinking and playing something called Chess Wizard, and just being cool. You instantly relate to him as a blue-collared, everyday guy. Following on from the commotion outside, Windows, played by Thomas G. Waits, and Blair, played by Wilford Brimley, rest in peace, try to report what happened to the main base, but can't get a hold of anyone. Putting the pieces together, Copper, played by Richard Dysart, figures out that the neighboring camp is where the other people came from. So McCready and Copper go there to investigate, and there they find some disturbing evidence and wreckage showing them that something definitely went down there. They also find a frozen rectangular block of ice that is wide open. It's been cracked open like an egg. They bring back the carcasses they find, and after an autopsy, Blair confirms that these people, these carcasses, are normal. There's a normal set of internal organs. The amount of setup in the first 10 minutes is so great, and we're not done yet. Copper also brought back some video cassettes, and from the footage on the tapes, they realized that they found something in the ice not far from their base, so McCready, Copper, and Norris, played by Charles Hallahan, investigate and find a huge spaceship frozen in the ice with the door wide open. And a few feet away is a rectangular hole connecting the rectangular block of ice they found at the other camp to this big opening in the snow. They bring back some pieces of metal from the spaceship, and they have a powwow in the break room trying to figure out what's going on. They come to a rough conclusion of what this parasite or whatever is, but it's clear paranoia and tension is slowly kicking in. Now here is where the film catapults into the stratosphere. Clark, played by Richard Mazer, is told to put the dog from the opening into the kennel with the other dogs, and after leaving, this happens. Finding the commotion, he gathers everyone at the kennel, and McCready asks for Childs, played by Keith David, to bring the flamethrower, leading to this hilarious line.
Mac wants the flamethrower.
Mac wants the what?
That's what he said, now move!
Damn it.
After the commotion, Blair does another autopsy, and they bring the remains into the storeroom along with what they found at the other camp. Fuchs, played by Joel Polis, gathers McCready into the tractor for a quick powwow, and he tells him that Blair has locked himself in his room and has figured out that there is still cellular activity in the remains. Windows then comes to get them to tell them that the thing has gotten Bennings. When they go back to see, Bennings is gone, and the flyer alarm starts to blare. They all rush outside, leading to this creepy moment.
It isn't Bennings.
After the commotion, they burn the rest of the remains, and McCready finds that Blair has messed with the helicopter and is now wrecking the radio room because earlier he ran a computer simulation and found that 75% of the crew could already be infected, and if this thing ever got into an area that is full of people, it would spell certain doom. Now, after some screaming and arguing and gunshots and other destruction and a solid punch from McCready, they sedate Blair and lock him in the tool shed. Before they leave, Blair tells McCready to watch Clark. Love the way Brimley delivers this line. It's so creepy and unsettling and suspicious. Now, with all modes of transportation cut off, they devise a simple blood test to figure out who's human and who's not. That gets sabotaged by an unknown person, and Windows tries to grab a gun, but MacReady and the rest talk him down. As trust wears thin, MacReady takes over being in charge from Gary. They burn the blood bags, and Copper, Gary, and Clark are tied up. Fuchs then goes missing when the power is cut, and the others go to look for him, and they do find his remains. But they are split up, and Knowles, played by T.K. Carter, makes it back and convinces them that MacReady is now the Thing. They have the doors boarded up when MacReady breaks in through the storeroom window, and a tussle ensues, and Norris has a heart attack. This leads to one of the greatest scenes in horror filmmaking, the defibrillation commotion, as I call it. Copper tries to resuscitate Norris, and it leads to this.
Clear!
It's a great example of a completely unexpected jump scare and how to create choreographed chaos in a scene. The sounds by themselves are completely unsettling. It's just a fantastic scene. Next is another great scene, the blood test scene. Beforehand, Clark tries to kill MacReady, but MacReady kills Clark. This scene is a master of suspense and editing and catching you off guard. The commotion that follows and the truly startling jump scare is great. MacReady is revealed to be human, but Palmer, played by David Clennon, is not. After the commotion with the blood test, MacReady, Knowles, and Gary tell Childs to stay inside, and the three of them go to give Blair the test. When they get to the tool shed, they find the door wide open and a tunnel leading to a half-built spaceship. The lights go out, and Knowles notices Childs running out into the night. Love the ambiguity of the scene. The trio talk about what to do, and they come to terms that they aren't going to make it, but if they let this thing freeze, then it'll just be found and brought back to a populated area. The scene where they realize that they probably won't make it is a serious moment, and these three actors play it really well. In order to stop this creature, they have to bring this whole place down to the ice, as MacReady says. In the process of doing this, they head into the generator room, and there they find that the generator is gone. Knowles and Gary both get killed off as they set up dynamite. Kurt Russell gives some of his finest acting in this film in the scene when he realizes he is now alone. Love the sound design in this scene. The Thing finally shows itself in another brilliant sequence. MacReady then gives a great line, throws a stick of dynamite, and gets out of there as the place explodes in some brilliant cinematography. The film ends with MacReady and Childs talking. Mac asks where he was, and Childs says that he thought he saw Blair, so he ran after him and got lost in the storm, leaving it quite ambiguous, which is what I love about this movie. Childs asks what now, and Mac suggests they just wait and see what happens. And the film ends. I probably missed some stuff, but that's basically it. The Thing is a brilliantly made film both in front and behind the camera. Something I haven't mentioned yet is Ennio Morricone's Rest in Peace, brilliant and simplistic score that really sells the terror, dread, and paranoia of the film that is so integral to the story. The score is also like the main kind of theme was composed by Carpenter, and then he brought Ennio Morricone in and a couple other people to fully flesh it out. It's a great score all around. I love how it's a story of these men going mad, wrapped in a rated R sci-fi horror thriller shell. The direction by John Carpenter and the cinematography by the legend Dean Cundey are top-tier perfection in this film. The way these actors are directed is so perfect, and the way this film is shot is amazing and gorgeous. It's actually one of my favorite movies for cinematography. Like I said, it's gorgeous. There's so much to praise about this film. All the actors give great performances, especially Wilford Brimley, rest in peace, of course, and Kurt Russell. They lead an ensemble cast that are all distinct and unique, and that really speaks to how well-crafted this script was, that each character is distinct and unique because it's such an ensemble cast. Bill Lancaster wrote a truly brilliant script for this film. I could go on praising this film forever, but let's talk about the experience of seeing it in a theater. It was truly an amazing experience. This film looks great no matter what, but on a big screen it looks beautiful. The lens flares from flashlights being shined really pop on the screen and make it look even better. This film really is the king of makeup effects, and they still look great, and on a big screen, it is truly something else. Props to Rob Bottin, you knocked it out of this world for this film. Just experiencing this film and how it should be watched was so cool, and the theater was packed, but the audience was so into it that I didn't mind it being full. This film immerses you so quickly, and the slow burn element hooks you in because it's never boring. You always want to know more about what's going on. A good slow burn keeps you engaged, and this film does that in spades. All in all, this film is a work of art and will always go down in history as one of the greatest Carpenter films and sci-fi horror thrillers ever. It's such a perfect example of what this genre can be. I will always recommend this to someone who loves horror films that are perfectly done and full of suspense. I love this film, and it gets an A+. Thank you all so much for watching. Sorry about the delay in my Bond reviews. They are coming, trust me. Look forward to more reviews very soon. Please make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and write comments below about your thoughts on this incredibly classic film. And I will see you next time. This has been Brayden from the Movie Fanatics, signing off. Thank you so much for watching my in-depth review of John Carpenter's The Thing.